Welcome again to the old principal. 我就是老校长, and this is an English instructional program that will help your listening ability, 帮助你的听力. And we will, every lesson, there will always be probably some new words or new ways of saying things that you can incorporate. Woo! What a big word. 可以利用在你的一般说话跟别人说话. So, I'll give you some new words that you can try out. Now, this is lesson number 252, College Freshman. Okay, 大一年级. Oh, but this is number 2. So we've already done number 1. This is number 2.
Story 252, Freshman Year at College, number 2. I attended university about 300 miles from home. At the beginning of my freshman year, the dormitory dean assigned me to room with a senior pre-dental student. His last name was Tall, although in reality he was almost the shortest man in our college. We didn't know each other, and our majors were different. He was a senior and I was a freshman. It was not a good match. After a few weeks, we asked the dean for a change. I moved to another room and had a new roommate, and that worked out better. Americans use the term room and board. The room part is simple to figure out. The board refers to the cost of food. In those days, dormitory rooms accommodated 2 persons. Even then, it was pretty expensive. If there were extra rooms available, some students could live alone, but they paid a higher room rent. Only married students could live out in the village. Probably the most expensive part of college life beyond school tuition was board. It's always been expensive to eat in the school cafeteria. Unless one is very careful, it is not difficult for a person to eat $300 to $500 worth of food in a month. During the freshman year, I determined to stick to my studies. I did not get involved in many school activities, and I did not spend any time dating girls. The most popular night for dating was Saturday night, but I was content to play ping pong with the Chinese students rather than ask a girl out. Even though I worked part-time at a printing press, the money received went to my account. Most of the time, I personally had very little spending money, and that reminds me of the standard college joke. A son attending college away from home wrote a letter to his dad. "Dear Dad, no mon, no fun." His father replied tersely, "Too bad, so sad, your dad."
Okay, going on. Okay. I attended a university about 300 miles from my home. Now, when I say 300 miles, it usually took about, let's say it took about 6 hours to travel from my house to the university. I didn't have a car for the first few years, so I had to travel with other people. Or I just didn't go home. I stayed at the university. I just didn't go home on vacations too often. So, going on. At the beginning of my freshman year, the dormitory dean 安排我 to room with a senior pre-dental student. Okay, now there's a couple of things here you need to understand. The dormitory dean, 这个宿舍主任, yeah, you've probably figured that one out. Okay, he assigned me to room with a senior. So, 这我们要同住一个房间呢. He is a senior. Okay, pre-dental student. Now, please understand that in America, you study 4 years of college or university, and then you go to 牙科医学院 for 4 more years. So how many years of college and university do you have? 8 years. The first 4 years are considered pre-dental. Okay? So this is 牙科, 这个预科. Okay? So it's pre-dent. It's before dental school. It's 4 years. Now he was a senior, and he would go on to become a dentist. He would study in dental school and then become a dentist. So I was, his last name was Tall. I still remember that. Do you know why I remember his name? 他的姓是 Tall. Because in reality, 事实上, he was almost the shortest man in the college. 全校几乎 almost 几乎是最矮的一个人. His name was Tall, but he was short. So you got that? So I never forgot that. Going on. We didn't know each other. 根本就不认识他. Well, first of all, he was 4 years ahead of me. Okay, 3 years ahead of me. See, he was a senior. Well, you probably figure 4 years ahead of me. 3, 4, whatever. This is his last year of college and my first year of college. So we didn't know each other. And our majors were different. 我们的主修也不同. Okay. He was a senior. I was a freshman. 他是大四，我是大一. It was not a good match. What does it mean to be a match? 不是好的组合. We just, the best way, we just didn't match. We just couldn't do this. It was not a good match. 不是好的组合. Going on. After a few weeks, we asked the dean for a change. We. Did you see we? Okay. Not just me. It was we. He realized that it wasn't a good idea. And I realized it wasn't a good idea. 我们两个人是有同感. That we were not a good match. It just wasn't going to work out very well. And so we asked the 宿舍主任, the dean, for a change. Okay, 另外一个安排. Going on. I moved to another room and had a new roommate, and that worked out better. Well, the reason why it worked out better is my new roommate I had known in high school. Now, he was a year ahead of me, but still I had known who he was. So even though I thought, yeah, maybe he was a little bit strange, but you know, he probably thought I was strange. So, you know, 彼此彼此, okay? So I moved to another room. I had a new roommate. 住同一个房间的 室友 and it worked out better. 比较成功啊 Go ahead. Americans use the excuse me. Americans use the term room and board. What does room and board mean? Room and board. The room part is room and board is 食宿. Okay? The room part is这个住宿 okay 住宿 This is where you live. The room is a room, okay? And the board is 膳食 Board refers to food, room and board. But in this case, we're talking about the cost of food and the cost of board, because that's what I'm going to be talking about. Maybe it looks a little out of context here. Okay, the cost of food. That means 它的费用. Okay, room costs something, and food costs something. So 食宿都需要钱. Go ahead. In those days, dormitory rooms accommodated 2 persons. Even then, it was pretty expensive. 那时候 dormitory rooms, that is the 每一个房间在这个宿舍 accommodated 可以住 accommodate means 可以住2个人啊 okay even then 虽然如此 it was pretty expensive 是相当贵 Yep, it was still pretty expensive, even with 2 people. Of course, if you had 1 person in a room, and sometimes they had that, then it would be even more expensive. And I mentioned that right now. Go ahead. If there were extra rooms, then available, 这个可用的一些其他的房间呢，或剩余的房间，或没有人的房间 Okay, some of the students could live alone, but they had to pay a higher room rent. Of course, if you have 1 person in the room, then you have to pay more money. Does that make sense? 房租是比较贵. So 2 people, cheaper, 1 person. But there were some some students who wished to be by themselves. I wonder whether my first roommate, Mr. Tall, who was short, I wonder if he stayed by himself. Anyway, only married students could live out in the village. If you wanted to live in the village, 你要住在村庄，学校四周围的村庄 you had to be married. 已经结过婚的学生可以住在村庄 But those who were unmarried had to live in the dormitory. Now, the interesting thing was that that nowadays, if you are older, let's say 你的年龄比较大一点 even if you are not married, 尽管你不是还没有结婚 you can still live out in the village. But not in those days. Remember, I went to university. Well, let's think this thing through. I went to university 51 years ago. And 那个时代不一样，文化都不一样，and so it's completely different. Nowadays, things are really, really, really changed. Okay? Only married students could live out in the village going on. Probably the most expensive part of the food of college life beyond school tuition was board. Okay? 除了学费以外，最贵是什么？膳食。What you had to eat. Well, and of course, guess what? When students go to college, they're young and vibrant and energetic, and they eat lots of food. It's always been expensive to eat in the school cafeteria. 在学校的食堂从起初都是很贵。Okay, always, from the beginning, always, 总是 from a long time ago. I don't know about China. Maybe in China it's cheap to eat in the school 学校的食堂. But in America, very expensive. In fact, in those days, in our days, here is how much it costs going on. Unless one is very careful, it is not difficult for a person to eat $300 to $500 worth of food in a month. Now, it was less then, of course, but 现在一点都不难，你可以一个月吃$300一直到$500. Can you imagine that? $500 just for food. Some years, sometimes people just didn't eat. They skipped the food. They just didn't eat meals. Of course, that's not a good idea either, is it? It's best to eat good food on a regular basis. But they just did it anyway because they wanted to save money. But of course, if you affected, 如果最后的结果呢是影响你的健康, if it affected your health, then it's a waste. It's better to eat and spend a little bit more money for good food. 倒不如吃好的. Going on. During the freshman year, I determined to stick to my studies. 很认真的念书 my freshman year. Yeah, I was new, so I think that makes sense. I did not get involved in many school activities. 没有参与多少学校的活动. I was interested in studying, because remember, the teacher, the school, the recruiter said that I would have a hard time. Now, not only did I not get involved in activities, I did not spend any time dating girls. 我没有花时间跟这个女生约会 dating girls 约会 with the girls. That was my first year. My second year I changed, but my first year, not interested in the girls, not interested in activities. I just did, well, what did I do? The most popular night for dating was Saturday. Okay? 最受欢迎最热门的 I should probably say it like that. Night for dating 是哪一个晚上呢? Saturday night, 星期六晚上。这个很多人跟他们的男女朋友约会 okay? That was the popular night, 很热门的 But 但是 I was content. 我满足于 what? To play ping pong with Chinese students. That's interesting. I never knew. I never even thought about the possibility that someday I would come to China. Not in the least. But in my first year in college, I spent my time with Chinese students. Okay? And what were we doing? We were playing ping pong球. Ping pong球. They were good. I was not so good. But I enjoyed playing it nevertheless. Okay? I would rather do that. 我宁愿那样做，而不愿意 what? To ask a girl out. When it says to ask a girl out, it simply means 跟她约会. If I want to ask you out, then I am asking you to go with me to go somewhere. So English just has this understanding that if you ask somebody out, you are asking them to maybe go to a restaurant or to do something, and you can consider that 一种约会. Okay, even though I worked part-time at a printing press, the money received went to my account. Okay? Even though I worked at a printing, 我是在一个印刷工厂工作. And so the money, it was a school printing press, 印刷工厂. And so the money I earned, 我所赚的钱, actually the money received, 我所得的钱, went to my account. What does this mean? 就入我的账. 入我的账. So it went to my account, which means, next, most of the time I personally had very, very little spending money. 好，那么我个人大部分的时候 I had very little spending money. 我没有多少零用钱. I did work, but the money went to my account, 我账上入账. And so I never saw the money. Nowadays, I think that they actually pay the students nowadays. In those days, you didn't get any cash. 没有任何一个现金. Okay? Very little spending money. 没有多少零用钱. And that reminds me of a standard college joke. 这个是提醒我, I just had to do this one. 提醒我一个传统的这个笑话. And so this is the way it goes. See if you can understand it. See if you can understand it. Because it's written very tersely. 很简洁的写啊. And this is what he wrote. Okay? The son was attending college. Like me. I was attending college. And so he ran out of money. He had no money. He wrote a letter to his father. Now remember, there's no internet in this time. This is the time where you write letters. 贴邮票, 寄信, 等等. Okay, so it's completely different. You're putting stamps on the envelopes, you're sending it, the mailman carries it, all these things. Okay. The son is attending college away from home. He is not close to his home. He wrote a letter to his dad. 给爸爸写一封信. And the letter simply said, 简单的说1、2、3、4、5、6个字 Dear Dad, 亲爱的爸爸 No man, what does that mean? You know what that is? No man means no money. No fun. 不好玩 So here's his message. His message to his dad is, 爸爸，没有钱，不好玩。Dear Dad, no money, no fun. Okay? So the father, going on, the father replied tersely. Okay, tersely, 很精炼的，很简洁的。Tersely means very short, compact. And this is what he said. Too bad, so sad, your dad. Too bad, 很遗憾。So sad, 很难过。你的爸爸。So, here's what it is. The father replied tersely, Too bad, so sad, your dad. In other words, his dad didn't send him the money because he knew his son would waste the money. Okay, you can write an email letter to us, and you don't have to be so terse as that father was, or the son either. Our email address, theoldprinciple@gmail.com, and our website address, 我们的网站是 www.theoldprinciple.org. Well, we've come to the end of another lesson. It wasn't too hard, and I'm sure you learned a few new words. Go out and use them, and join me next time for another interesting lesson with Lao Xiaozhang. Bye-bye for now.